Good afternoon. Welcome to Around the Old Town. We're fortunate enough today to have with me Paul Fournier and Bob McCabe. They are the directors and president of the Abington St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry. Thank you, Paul, for coming in. I really appreciate your time and your time. Bob, thanks. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't familiar with the St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry and all that you do there. If you have a couple of minutes, I'd like to hear what's going on and what we can do to help, and I'll just give you the floor. Paul? Bob, let's start with you, Bob.
Well, we actually have at least 500 families on our record. We feed between 35 and 40 families per week on average, and at the holiday seasons it grows to 270 families, and it's amazing because of the outpouring of the generosity of the people of Abington and the surrounding towns, and the benefactors we have. We've been able to keep up with it, but it gets a little tougher. I do have an article here that is written by the Greater Boston Food Bank, and it's a woman named Catherine D'Amato. She's the president and CEO, and I'll just give you one excerpt from it. He says, "I wish I could report that such generous support has enabled the Greater Boston Food Bank to succeed in its missions, but that would be misleading. The still struggling economy, combined with rising living costs, means that our challenging to continue is, in fact, growing. Recent U.S. Census data shows that nearly 1 in 2 Americans, that's 48% of the population, are now classified as low income or living in poverty. Continued high unemployment, and as well as a reduction in already strained government safety nets programs, means that more and more families can't afford the food they need." And that's from the Greater Boston Food Bank and the recent census of the United States government. So it gets hairy, but as I say, we got a bunch of wonderful people and benefactors that always come to bat and save us at the last minute. Paul?
Well, I don't want to leave anybody out. Maybe you might mention some of the bigger contributors.
Well, we have Trukey's Market, the Stop and Shop. If I have any, Bruegel, the bakery.
Yes.
They give us tons of bread, and Paul works in the inside more than I do, so he could probably.
Okay, give you more. Just to mention the Greater Boston Food Bank again, with Bob read from there. We do a weekly order from them. They're an organization that started around 1985. In fact, they were a bunch of my constituents at Boston College. Some of my classmates started that. And the Abington Food Pantry's been around since 1985. And before Bob and I got involved, they did a great job. And what we've done is just kind of increased our services. We now deliver to elderly and shut-ins
Like a
every
Meals
week.
on Wheels type thing?
Yes, every Thursday we try to deliver those who can't get to the food pantry. So you add that on top of the 38 to 40 clients that we have every week. And in the last 8 years, we've grown from about 17 families to 38, 40. Sometimes around the holidays, like Bob said, 50. All right. So, but we have the resources, we have the connections, we have drives going on all the time in the town. We've networked with all the school systems. Every school has at least one drive a year. Schools like the Beaverbrook School does a monthly drive for us. We give them an item to collect, and they collect it for us. We don't pick it up. All the banks usually do one drive a year, which helps us out tremendously. And any small businesses may call us and say, "Can I have a bin?" And we'll set up a bin around the holidays. And so there's something going on all the time. Well, Mia Ragazza did a great job at the parade.
Sure.
They had the float, they did some advertising, and we worked together with them, and we had over 1,000 pounds of food.
From the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
St. Patrick's Parade. And next year we'll advertise a little bit more, because all that helps us. We have the Boy Scout drive every year. That's coming up in May. We get 4,000 pounds of food there. The Boy Scout drive, which is our best drive, in November, we got like 8,500 pounds of food. They do a tremendous job. They do the whole thing themselves.
Right.
We work together with them, as well as with the post office. We go out and actually work with the postal employees.
Is that May or so, I think?
It's coming up in May, and hopefully we can advertise.
Right, we'll have
a
you on
little
again
bit.
before that to
The
push
way it
that.
works is they hang a plastic bag for the food drive on the doorknob, and then the following week, we pick them up.
Oh, I get you, okay,
Yeah, so it works very well.
sure.
Other things on the pantry, for every $1 we get in donations, which we get it whether through St. Bridget's when people drop money in the little box in the back, or people stop by and give us a check, we can buy $8 to $10 worth of food.
For every dollar that's donated.
Every dollar it's donated, because at the Greater Boston Food Bank, we pay per pound, and there's also some areas, produce, for instance, is mostly free.
Okay.
So you factor it all together, and our truck picks up 2,000, 2,500 pounds of food
A week.
a week, and we go through that.
I was just going to say, it's not left over,
No,
right? It's-
no, well, people eat every day.
Right.
A lot of people say, well, I made a donation this year. It's wonderful, and we accept anything we can get, but people eat every week. So
Right.
you have to renew the source. And we have different things. We've had young kids come in here and say, well, I have a birthday, and I received, instead of asking for gifts or getting gifts, I asked everybody to bring canned goods or money. And they come walking in with boxes of food
That's fantastic.
and checks for $150. So it's...
We're seeing more of that.
We're growing good children.
Yeah.
Right, obviously the parents are doing a good job raising children like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have about 30 members of St. Vincent and Bridget, active members.
Right.
We have another 30 volunteers. They're not members, but they come in and give us 2 hours a day, some 4 hours. We have a crew that just comes in, goes in town with the truck, comes back, and that's very helpful
Sure.
to us, because
Right.
we can't do all the work every day. And so with the other point that I want to make is that we've integrated all the churches in town. We've invited all the churches, and they send members. And so it's not just a Catholic organization like it used to be.
Sure.
So we have different churches. The Lutheran Church does a drive every year, and the Baptist Church does a drive for us. So we're working with the supermarkets, the churches, the schools. So it's a town effort, and I think that's why we're very successful. We're actually probably looked upon as the elite in the food service, because we have all kinds of connections where people are donating.
Sure.
all the time.
This is what it takes. I have a brother-in-law who's an electrician. He comes down, does the electrical work.
Right.
We have a fellow who taught in schools shop. He walked in and built a walk-in refrigerator. So these are the connections you come across. Always, everybody got something to offer.
Sure.
And you get Bailey Garage here in town, and he just takes our truck and nurses it back to health, and
Yeah.
it's
all volunteer.
It's all volunteer. You don't see a bill.
Right, that doesn't surprise you, Mr. Bailey.
no.
We also work helping especially high school kids in the community that need community service hours from the high schools, and we're open to that, and actually get them from other towns.
Oh,
We get
that's
them all the way
great.
from
yeah.
Bridgewater, Whitman, and Rockland. They'll come there because we make sure we have work for them.
Right.
We structure it, and we're very good to them, and you come into a working environment that is fun. We have a
believe it.
lot of fun. And so we also work with the courts. We have kids that come in that might have gotten some minor trouble, need to do 40, 50 hours of community service. And again, we integrate them in there, and they become very productive.
Sure, and a lot of times the volunteers don't know why they're there, they're just kids volunteering.
Oh, yeah.
They don't realize it's a
Yeah.
punishment
No,
in
that's
some
not-
cases.
The adults, they work with different people, and
Sure.
And there a lot of them, after they've done the hours that they're required, they come back.
Come back, I believe it,
They come back because they enjoy it.
sure.
And it's the maturity of everybody down there that, they're treated as an adult, and not that they had a problem. It's nobody knows anything,
Right.
and it works out beautifully.
yeah.
You mentioned people that volunteer and come in particular, like Mr. Bailey, and electricians, et cetera.
Yeah.
Was there a problem recently? They were expanding, opening the window, or expanding the window? Did you want to elaborate
Yes,
on that?
we had a thing last Friday evening. It was something that a lot of dust got carried through the building, and that's not healthy. And we keep the place as immaculate as we can. and it was a company called Able Restoration, and we called them up on a Friday night at 9 o'clock, and they were there at 9:15, and they ascertained what we needed, and they volunteered to do the whole job gratis, just so we could be up and running on a Tuesday evening and not disappoint the 30 or 40 families that we would get there. We were concerned that it wouldn't be right.
Right, if it wasn't open,
they
couldn't get the food.
didn't even hesitate. They just run. So Able Restoration, thumbs up.
In fact, 64 hours of straight cleaning. They had a whole crew of 8 people they worked.
64 hours straight.
Straight,
And cleaned it up and got us running up, and you just don't get that, you know, the Trukees, the Stop and Shops, the Baileys, the Able, you know, and there's many, many more that we've
Right, we
missed.
don't want to leave
you know,
people out because
we
there
don't
are
want to
many
leave
people that
anybody out. There's so
contribute,
many
right.
people doing, hey, me, yeah, we know you are, and if we missed it, we apologize.
Yeah, I want to mention 2 other programs we have going on.
Sure.
With special needs kids from the May Institute,
Okay.
who are autistic adults, young adults, anywhere from 18 to 22. We have 2 students come in with their coaches on a Wednesday, and they put an hour and a half, 2 hours of restocking the shelves. They have their own supervision, and the goal for them is to learn how to work in an environment, whether retail or a food pantry, so they can get a job
Sure.
that pays.
Right, exactly.
So we work closely with them, and we also work with a program called Work Inc., which is another special needs program. And they, in fact, they're coming in tomorrow we're going to go through the whole pantry and there's new people involved. And so they do a lot of cleaning. So to maintain that high standard we had from Able, we're going to need the floors done more often and the dusting and things like that. So we're going to work something out, Work Inc., and they'll send 2 or 3. They're hooked up with Randolph High School kids.
And they'll come to Abington.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a new program that we're looking into, and we did do it for 2 years, and now we're expanding that. So we meet with them tomorrow. So we're open to different opportunities to get different people involved. We're not
great.
just closed to
No, right,
a few
you
of
want
us.
help, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think
and everyone has
that's,
something different to offer.
I think that's why it works, is that all those people involved.
The
And
different connections you make through, you know,
Yeah.
through the food bank and through the different places in town.
Right. And different individuals too, and have different
Oh,
goals,
yeah.
but they work together.
All
Like
walks of
Christy
life.
Coombs with the Coombs Foundation,
Yeah.
Alex Bazanson with the Hug Foundation,
Yeah.
doing different things, and all the community efforts that they all help each other out.
That's right.
It's important.
And one more I want to
Sure.
mention, the New England Barbecue Association. I don't know how many people went there, but every year they have a cook-off or a barbecue contest at the VFW Hall
In
in
Abington.
Abington,
Right.
in the back. And there were 29 teams this year, and there's 4 members to a team, so there's a lot of people involved.
Sure.
Plus there's another 30 judges, and they do 4 items, and they're cooking all the morning, and they start presenting their items about 11:30.
To the judges.
Sure.
So we get involved because we run the raffle for them,
Okay.
and a lot of their members that come bring food for the pantry.
Fantastic.
So, in fact, after 2 weeks ago, we did it on a Saturday, we made over $1,000 from the raffle and donations from them, and another 400 pounds of food. So there's another connection that you work with someone, and it works out very well.
And Abington happens to have a world champion in Abington. They won.
wasn't aware of that.
They
Yeah,
won
they
the
go
world
to-
championship in barbecuing, and the boys down in Tennessee weren't very
I was just
happy.
going to say that. I was disappointed. I didn't find out about it till that day.
Yeah.
And I'm a barbecue
Oh, it's a
junkie.
lot of fun.
I spent a number of months in Tennessee, and that's all I ate was barbecue food, both the dry rub and
Yeah.
the sauce.
Well, some of these cookers they have is 10, 12 feet long.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a monster, and they're in it. They're in it to
Oh,
win
they
it.
live it, right? That's,
Oh, every
it's very
weekend they go
competitive, right?
all
They
over
travel
New
all over,
England.
right?
Yeah.
We had them from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
They pile it no matter what.
Well, I definitely want to do a show before then to remind people, because that
Yeah.
I know a number of people that would love to chow and barbecue, and it's a great cause, and they
Right.
get to see the best and taste
Well,
the best.
they don't have a lot of food to
No,
give
but
to
sample,
people.
but-
what they're doing, what they're cooking, and people see
How
what
they
goes
do it
into it.
and-
It's not
right,
a
the
small
work.
task.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
we
labor.
set up a little hot dog and chili stand to feed the public that wants to come there. So
Okay.
it's you know.
But you get to see how all the
Well,
effort
you
that
see
they
all
put
the other
in.
foods and you get hungry, so.
Right.
And you have other
Make a buck.
vendors there showing their wares, such as their cookers, their backyard fencing, the
Makes
flooring, and everything of that nature, and they come to bat for these people too.
That's great.
And no propane, it's all
Oh, you're
Oh.
sure.
chips and
Right,
charcoal.
all smoked and,
Oh yeah,
right, yeah, it's
top
all,
shelf.
And you make connections with them.
Sure.
They, out of that Saturday, we made 2 connections where they're doing drives at their clubs, and they want to donate to us, so.
And they all have treasuries too, and they want to give to different associations, and they came up and gave us a generous donation from the one here in Abington.
now I have to ask, with the Abington judges, were they the ones that picked this Abington?
No.
The judges are from all over.
All over, that's great.
This is big time.
I don't want hometown favoritism.
No.
Bob, they were short a judge one day, and they gave him a quick class on how to be a judge, because you have to be certified.
Oh, geez, I
Oh,
didn't realize
yeah.
that.
Well, they come in with presentations, number one, when they present it to you.
Right.
And then they have 8 judges at the table, and it's about 9 things you have to mark them on, and you can take a little bit of everything, and then it goes away, and you mark them accordingly,
Right.
and then they tally it up at the end of the day to come up
Competition,
who won.
Actually, I was in Memphis. It's in May. Memphis in May, they call it. I think it's the last week of May. And they had a much bigger, that Memphis, that's a huge ordeal, barbecuing.
yeah,
It's a major industry. And it must have been like 100 of them. But the whole competition, and they bring that up to New England, and they're right. They are competitors, like the Red Sox Yankees. I mean, they really do want to beat the guy
Oh.
next to them. It's that competitive.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're able to benefit from that.
We are, and we're very fortunate, as they say.
In many ways.
The benefactors in this area, that they give generously and with their hearts.
Now, I know we have the postal people are coming up in May, right, for the
Right.
collection.
Right.
The schools have been very active. I know just the last show we did, we had the Woodsteel School had some
Right.
generous donations of food. Any other events coming? Oh, you just had the dance.
Yeah.
We just had our
We had
annual
the-
dance,
yeah,
which was,
Chocolates and halos, and we done extremely well. We had over 300 people attend that.
It was sold out, I understand.
Sold out. We
Right.
couldn't sell any more tickets.
Right.
It was sold
we had a
out.
live band. How many members? Like 10 members of
Yeah,
the live
and
band?
2 vocalists.
Oh, was it?
So it was a fun night. It was a fun night.
a class
I talked to people that went, and they loved
Yeah,
it.
well,
They
fun.
said
I
tremendous.
made it a point to go around all the tables afterwards and ask them, are they willing to come back next year? And I got a positive from everyone.
From everyone. I'm not surprised, because
So
people I
it
spoke to
was
raved
good.
about it.
And some of the other things, you get the CCD classes come in, the young kids.
Sure.
At Christmas time, I had to stick my head in the bucket so I wouldn't cry. These children came down they all had a bag, and 30 of them walked down, and I thanked them graciously, and then they handed me an envelope with money. And then we had a question and answer, and there was a lot of good questions. And one young man stuck up his hand, and I think he's going to be an entrepreneur. He says, "How much money to make here?"
Right away.
So,
You need
but
people like that, too.
But they were all interested. They were all interested, and the Boy Scouts came down, Cub Scouts came down, and they done the same thing. They brought boxes of food, and we made it a little playful thing and asked them what they think that the food weighed when they come in,
Right.
and they all took a shot at it. And this one kid hit it right on the button.
Shot back.
And so it was a fun thing for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
and a lot of people think they have to pay. A lot of the kids that aren't aware of what's going on, but we don't charge anyone anything. And I'm doing a new, how much food we give out each week. We probably give out between $150, $175 worth of food if you retailed it.
Right.
Because of our connections and the work we have and how we collect.
Right.
So that's why we have to keep it to Abington too, because they already try and come from different
From
towns.
other towns. No, I understand
Yeah,
that.
and I
See?
understand
But
that.
we do have a setup that once you come down and register, within 2 weeks, somebody would be at your house to knock on your door to say hello and see what other needs you might have.
Right, yeah, it's not just
This is-
food, right?
This is one of the other problems we run into. I had a young lady a couple of weeks ago, and she needed help badly, but she was too embarrassed to come down, and I happened to be there early, and I said, "Come on down." I had other people down there, and I sat down and talked to her. She went out of there with 3 boxes of food, and took care of a gas bill that she had a real problem with. She was going to be shut off, and she called me that night. She says, "I just sat in my kitchen and giggled."
Right.
So-
things that a lot of us take for granted.
Right.
That you're able to help
Basic.
provide.
Well,
with.
people don't understand. A lot of people think, oh, you feed people. It's not a line of food where we're putting food in the tray. We're
Right.
giving them groceries to take home and cook and things of that nature, which is important. And we want them to keep their dignity. We want them, and we want people who are reluctant to come down and are really in need to give us a shot. Come down. You'll feel very comfortable.
Exactly.
We
Very comfortable.
make it a habit and a must, mandatory, that you respect everyone down there. You know, we're a Christian organization, and there's no room for harsh words or the wrong words, and we welcome everyone. There's no judging. You know, the only requirement is that you live in Abington.
Right.
And we have a very short application you make out, and you're welcome to come here. And we will visit to make sure you live where you live,
Right.
because, you know, there's some people.
Yeah,
from
we
other
ask them to
towns
bring
come.
a bill or two that they receive at that address and a picture ID. That's all the
great.
qualifications.
But also the other towns have a St. Vincent de Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Exactly.
Rockland
Most
and
towns.
Whitman,
Exactly.
most,
Yeah.
right, in the immediate
Some are
area.
better than others.
Right,
you know,
some have
but
more
I mean,
active members, sure.
Yeah,
Right.
we just happen to have a great team of people.
And as Bob was mentioning, we do other things besides food. Food has become a major piece of the work of St. Vincent de Paul. But before food pantries, they were active. They've been active since the 1800s.
My goodness.
So you never heard much about the St. Vincent de Paul Society. They just went out and put, you know, books, or they'd help people in their needs, and they wouldn't say too much. But when the food pantries come on board, you need to advertise. You need to tell people that we're there for
Exactly.
them. But we're also there for evaluating a lot of their needs. And we will talk to you if you have other issues. We sit down with you, and we have different teams to help you out in any way we can.
remember-
We just developed a two-page brochure on every state and federal outfit that can help somebody in some way, whether it's oil, whether it's food stamps, whether it's housing, whatever it is. So we give them that, and we tell them, please utilize it. You make the first step and call.
Right.
Free telephones. People have no telephones in their house because they've been shut off.
Sure.
They have no communications. They can get a free phone with 250 minutes on it, and to no cost, and you know, gives them a safety net.
Sure. I know I brought some, I was going to bring some furniture, and you suggested my brother's keeper was one of the ones you must work in conjunction with.
We
and-
work
yeah.
closely with them. I refer people to them. I'll
Yes.
call them up myself, and that's another Christian organization that's unbelievable in terms of furniture and appliances and all those type of things. So
Nice.
we have a store, St. Vincent in Stoughton. There's a retail store that does clothing, that does furniture, and
Great
at
prices.
a great price.
Great prices.
So you see the bins outside the food pantry, all that
Right.
goes to Stoughton, and they sort it all out, clean up everything, and then they sell it in the retails, which comes back and pays for our Christmas, Thanksgiving items, especially because we do so much of that.
The volume increases.
Yeah, we get a good cost from St. Vincent and the Greater Boston Food Bank, because they come out of the woodwork out of the holidays. So
Is there a number, a telephone number that's great to reach the food pantry at? Do you want to put that on the air?
Yes,
Here it is.
we have it
posted
on the air now.
there.
It's right there. It's
Yeah,
and
and-
it's online at SVDP, that's St. Vincent de Paul, Abington at yahoo.com.
Mm-hmm.
And the telephone number, 781-878-1194. And as Paul and Bob said, if there are other, don't just bring furniture or anything down, call ahead. And
Right.
Yeah.
You'd be able
We can
to
tell them what to
advise
do with
them.
it.
Right.
We tell them what number to call to get rid of the furniture and whatever. And as I say, if we're not there, takes a recording, we'll get back to you on it.
Sure, right.
And
You can
let
have it
them
be
know,
24/7,
you know.
of course.
And it works very well. Nobody gets left out.
That's the thing. Nobody's left out, and it's as long as you're an Abington resident.
Yeah.
You know.
right, we'll take care of you.
Is there anything that we should bring up? I know. Oh, I'm going to be going to the food pantry with the video camera to show the day in process, the typical
Absolutely.
day, and
Yes.
we're in the process of doing that. So we'll have that on our next show in May. Excuse me, April. I'm moving a month ahead of us.
You won't see the clients, but you.
No,
we'll
the
take you
staff,
right
the
through
volunteers, and the staff. And to see a day in the operation, how and you can explain how much you've gone from in 1985 and how much the
Right.
system has improved
Yes.
up to the present
And
time.
just to point for everyone that we're under regulations just like every restaurant, every retail store. We were inspected by the Board of Health. We have to be clean, we have to be organized, we have to do food handling properly.
Fire
There's
extinguishers.
3 or 4 of us
exits.
that are certified in food handling. I happen to be in the business for 35 years, so
Well, I'll blow
that
his horn
helps.
for. He turned around. He was the head of the Brigham Women's Hospital. He used to put out 30,000 meals a day.
Wow.
So he has experience.
Sure.
So, and then you carry that over to the pantry, and it has to be, those standards have to be there. Dates have to, and food has to be rotated. All the things that the retail stores do, we
You
have
do.
to do as well.
Extra thermometers in each and every freezers, and we have 30 of them.
30 freezers.
Yes,
And refrigerators, yep.
and a
Well-
walk-in.
As I said, the next time that we meet, you'll be able to see a day in the life at the
Good.
food pantry.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people, I don't think, are really aware of what goes on.
No.
You know,
No.
some people are gracious enough to drop a check off, which is fantastic.
super.
But I think you could actually see what happens and where this goes.
A main point that we do that most other pantries don't do is that you shop. When you come in, you go around. We have a little mini stop and shop. One of the members will take you around, so you pick your own items. I mean, the concept of a food pantry is usually they give you 2 shopping bags, they give you some canned goods,
We
and you're
don't
on
do
your way.
that.
No, you get complete groceries and produce from 5 or 6 types of meats, all the way from beef, chicken, pork, everything.
butter,
Eggs,
milk.
butter, yogurt,
Yeah.
and even some other items that
Fish.
you don't expect. So you go home and you probably have enough food for a week and a half or 2 weeks. This is to supplement
Right.
what you, but
We want
you
to-
have a lot of food.
If we run into a family who is really behind the 8 ball, I'll have them come down once a week.
Right.
Normally it's once every 3 weeks, but we'll have them come down once a week. I'd rather have them take our food and take whatever resources they had to take care of their eating and whatever. I mean, I've had some real sad stories. I had one woman who burnt her furniture in her fireplace this winter to stay warm because she didn't want to ask us.
Now, there's no reason
Excuse
for
me, I
that.
told you not to tell that story about my wife.
This is what it'd be like working there during the day. It's not just work. You're able to have some camaraderie and
Oh, yeah.
take the stress out, and everyone works together. and
Absolutely.
Make the day worthwhile. And
If you knew his wife, she'd be burning his bed.
with a minute.
No, but as they say, don't be reluctant to come down. If you have a need,
Talk to
please
us.
come down. You'll only see us once to ask you for your information. Then it's done. When you come in the next time, you walk in, your name is there, it's checked off. We'll find out how many's in your family the first time. So what we do is have you shop, and we have somebody in the meat room who knows how many is in your family, so we can load that box accordingly. If you have 5 kids or 6 kids or no kids, we know how much to put in there so we can spread the wealth, so to speak.
Sure. Well, again, I can't thank you enough for all you've done and all you do, and especially spending some time with us today. If you have some people that you want to send this to, give information about it, you might not remember the particulars, you can see this video on abingtoncam.org. That's abingtoncam.org. You can tell your friends and neighbors about it and say, oh, I saw Paul and Bob on the show, and this is what they need. And are there any particular items right now you may be looking for, other than cash? And,
You know, we always need paper goods because it's very costly for paper towels and Kleenex.
Toilet tissue,
Toilet
tissue.
tissue and
the
napkins.
detergents.
Okay.
We give those out every week. I mean, a lot
Right.
of pantries don't get near that because it's so expensive. So we try to buy that when it's on sale. We go to Costco's, we go to Trukey's,
Right, the bulk, yeah.
Stop and Shop, and buy it 100, 200 bottles of the
Because the
time.
food pantries don't, the Greater
Greater
Boston
Boston.
Food Pantry doesn't carry that, so we have to go
Yeah.
to markets, and when they have a sale on detergents, we'll go in and buy, or Paul will go in and buy a couple hundred
Sure.
bottles of it at a time.
Well, in the meantime, if you could think of these goods and you want to drop them off,
Yeah.
it's
Give
what are the
us a
normal
call.
hours for drop? Yeah,
We're there Monday through Thursday every morning until at least 12 o'clock.
okay.
Sometimes more, and then Tuesday night when we distribute the food. Did we mention that? You
No,
can-
I
we
don't know.
didn't. No, we
Yeah.
didn't.
Right.
So Tuesday night we give out the food from 5:30 to 7, and people actually start lining up about 4 o'clock.
And
Sure.
when you walk up to the building, you'll see 3 St. Vincent de Paul containers. They're white. You walk around to the back side of there, and that's the entrance going downstairs. It's actually the basement of the old convent.
Okay.
And so don't get lost. We're there.
If you need help, ask. But please call ahead, 781-878-1194. And if you have the computer access, svdpabington@yahoo.com. And again, next month, you'll see us in work and see where that goes. And please remember, abingtoncam.org, if you want to tell people about this, they can see the show for themselves and maybe they might have some connections for you and then spread the wealth that way.
Okay.
And I'll thank you ahead of time, and God bless.
Yes, amen to that. And come and see us, even if you just want to come down and see what we're about. We have a lot of people that want to volunteer. We actually have a waiting list of volunteers. So, I mean, there's only so much work
space
down
too,
there.
right.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't want to have too many people, but we take people in all the time. You come down, have a tour. We talk to you. We see what you're about, and we plug you in someplace. All right?
Again, thank you very much for all
You're
you do
welcome.
and all you've done. And
My
we look
pleasure
forward to
again.
seeing you in a
My
couple of
pleasure.
weeks, and we'll have you on the
Absolutely.
air in a month or so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Have a great day. And I'm going to continue. We're going to give these gentlemen a break, and I'm going to give you some updates of what's going on around the Old Town. Welcome back to Around the Old Town. I just wanted to give you some dates that you might want to be aware of coming up. Special town meeting and town meeting is April 2nd at 7 p.m. and then at 7:05 p.m. for the special will be at 7 o'clock. The town meeting will be at 7:05, and that'll be at the high school. April 28th are our town elections, and there are a number of contested seats. School committee and and selectmen both have contestants, and we'll have contested races. Tentative plan right now is to do a cable show the Saturday prior to that. That'd be April 21st at 9 a.m. and we'd have candidates speak. I'll be asking them questions about issues involving their races and their candidacies, and then we'd go from there. That way, Justin Shannon and the cable company can show that video for the whole week prior to the election on April 28th. So town meeting April 2nd, town elections April 28th. There were 3 posts that are available that nobody took nomination papers out for. The Board of Health, trustees of the Veterans Memorial, and Sewer Commission. Now, if you are interested in running for these boards and you did not pull a paper, then you can do what's called a sticker campaign. And there are 2 ways you can find information out about that. You can go to mass.gov, Secretary of State's office, and then click on the Elections Division. And you can also call our town clerk, Linda Adams, 781-982-2112, and she'll give you the information as well. But these are important positions. Board of Health meets, I believe, twice a month. Sewer Commission usually meets once a month, and the trustees of the Veterans Memorial doesn't meet as often, but they have an important job in that, particularly around Veterans Day with laying wreaths and flags, and Patriots Day, they get involved with the graves. And it is something that we should take pride in, because our veterans have done a lot for us, and it's not asking much to spend a couple of hours helping to keep the graves clean and well respected, and with the wreaths and or flags. So if you have any interest in that, please call Linda Adams, go to mass.gov, Secretary of State, the Election Division. The rabies shots for the dogs are going to be available, and that is April 21st. Oh, excuse me, that is April 14th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and that's at Town Hall. It's a $10 fee. And you can also license your dog for an additional $10 fee. And again, that's the rabies clinic and dog licensing, April 14th from 9 to 12 at Town Hall. Let's see. I went over the town meeting, the rabies clinic. Okay. Also, Abington's Tricentennial is coming up, and there have been a number of events already. I just picked up a brochure and wanted to go over a couple that are still going to be happening. The art show, the Tricentennial Art Show, April 25th through April 29th. And that's at the Abington Senior Center. Wednesday and Thursday, 10 to 2. Friday, 10 to 1. And Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4. So if you have the time, swing by, and I think you'll enjoy what you see. There's some tremendous artwork. There's more information to follow on the Mayor for a Day contest, and no, I'm not running, but Mayor for a Day, and that's going to be in April of 2012, and as we get more information, we'll pass it on to you. There's an ecumenical church service on Sunday, May 6th, 2012 at 7 p.m. at the United Church of Christ, Abington's First Church. So that's a significant venue to have that. There's the Abington Tricentennial Road Race, which is May 19th. So as we get closer, we'll publicize these events more. We've already had the trivia night. They've already had the gala dance, and we're going to have fireworks, and there's just a lot coming on. So as we get more information, we'll pass it on to you. Again, the important things right now are the art show April 25th, town meeting April 2nd, and town elections April 28th, and we'll have a candidates day April 21st. We're still working out the venue. We may do it at the senior center, and the contested races again are selectmen and school committee. We'll be in touch then probably another 2 or 3 weeks or so. I hope everyone has a great day, and I want to thank Mr. Bailey and the parade committee for a tremendous job. The weather really held out, and it was tremendous. This whole week is going to be in the 70s. I'm sure Mr. Bailey willed it. Thanks again for all the committee work, and thanks Justin Shanahan for helping us out with this. Any portion of this, if you want to see on abingtoncam.org, tell your friends about it. It's a way to get information out. And I again want to thank the Abington Food Pantry people for coming in. Thank you very much. Have a great day.